After 3 weeks of cleaning and organizing, I think my room is about done. So I wanted to give you a quick tour. There's my dog hanging out the window. But give you a quick look at how I have things all organized. This is my workstation right here. But I'll just start with as you walked in just now. So my workstation. This is the cleanest I think it's ever been. But I have all of these drawers here. And these are the things that I use all the time. So I got these from Lowe's. They're CRAFTSMAN plastic in the tool department. Awesome. Little drawers, they do stack. In here I have these labeled as well. Journaling cards, labels. See, these are things that I'm constantly using or grabbing for. This right here I just finished last night, so I haven't put that away yet. But I also have my washi drawers here, and I tried to have this has been like this for a while. I do have a lot of washi. Don't use it as often as I used to. My dog's talking to me because there's people outside. I have them sorted by color because that's how my brain works. I'm a color girl most of the time. So I have different drawers with washi. This is what I use on a daily, so it just sits there. Alphabets. I don't use these as often anymore either, but this is the best organization I found for them. My goal is to get them used up. Smaller ones, and I have them all marked. So I realized that a lot of my problem with my room and not keeping it organized is I didn't really have a designated home for everything. So now I'm hoping this keeps me on track. I do have a Tim Holtz glass mat here, the black one, and I have a cover over it. I still struggle with the way the glass works, wiping it because I can't see the ink color, so maybe I was suggested maybe that I go with the white one, but I don't know if I could justify it yet with this one. So that's what I have going on right here. Underneath, or my desk is a stand-up desk, I should say that. It's actually an old IKEA table top. I've had the furniture in here, most of the furniture in here, for 20 years or more. So it's just been adapted every time to the way it works for me. But my husband does have a 3D printer, so he printed some little feet, some little lifts, I guess, for the bottoms, and little tiny ones that go right underneath here to lift it up. So he printed those on his 3D printer. So that helps me have a stand-up desk and a sit-down desk. But as I'm working here, this is the closet that we've converted over. It has bookshelves. I do have my stencils hanging here, my small ones from Tim Holtz, and then the larger ones and a couple other larger ones that I use often. This I use all the time. This is a second one. I will need to figure out a different method for this though, because I don't like how once I've opened it and started using it, it doesn't stick anymore, and then they fall out and they end up on the floor. So I got to figure out something different for that. My husband put up these magnetic strips here for me. They're from Harbor Freight. And so I have my scissors here, ones I use all the time. A standard hole punch. Sorry, the light's probably glaring you. And my brayer. There's bookshelves in here. I have extra supplies way up on top. Stuff I don't use very often. Stash of books that I want to keep. Haven't used that often, but I have my distress paints and re-inkers. I don't have money, but I have them in here. Distress paints, I have them all labeled. These are kitchen, I think refrigerator storage cabinet, storage buckets. I got these from Costco. It came with this size and, no, maybe it was just this size. And they do stack, but we added another shelf. It was just easier. I had them before where they stacked on top. But to get the one underneath, I got to balance and get both of them out. And it was just more of a hassle than anything. So I cut a new shelf to stick in here. My mica stains, my distress oxides, and my little note, because I haven't swatched these yet. I've just started. I haven't had a whole lot of luck with sprays, so I don't have a ton, but I have enough. And I need to get better at them before I decide to buy more, but I have those in here. Some extra storage right over there. Down here, I have my stamps. This is how I organize my stamps. Most of my stamps are from Stampers Anonymous, Tim Holtz stamps. I have the Heidi Swap stamps, because I did do Stop the Blur for a little while, and then I bought some of her other stamps with the sleeves. Some older stamps. I have some older studio Claudine Helmuth Studio stamps. I've had these for years. They still work, so they still get used, and they go in here. I have them organized with just a thick white chipboard that I put labels on with my little label maker to sort them. Alphabets, backgrounds, butterflies, since I have quite a few of those. Christmas takes up a lot of space. Crazy dogs. And then when I need it, I can just grab it out from here and bring it to my desk. I do need 2 hands to lift those up because they are heavy. And then a smaller one here, Echo Park, Heidi Swap. These are smaller stamp sets. I have them sorted the same way. Just kind of go with the way my brain works. I added another shelf recently to put all my Disney books here. Little Goldens, excuse me. I do create a lot of altered little golden books. I've done several that I've had listed on my shop, and then I've done a few custom ones for family and friends. So I do have them in here. I do have some of them sorted. I just used a Post-it, sort them out. Classics. Most of these are Disney, so I've used those. And then some more kid books, things that have already been slightly deconstructed. I really try to use, actually I shouldn't say really try. A lot of these books are very old, falling apart, or they have drawings on them, or they're sold secondhand. If they have pencil markings, I can try and erase them. Sometimes I just try and cover it up, but I'm not going and buying a brand new book and taking it apart. A lot of them I found from thrift stores, bargain books, next door, people listing stuff on Marketplace, just trying to move their kids' stuff out. And so I'll pick those up. If I squat down here lower, I have a lot of old books. These are all vintage old books. I use them. Haven't used a lot of the covers yet. Most of the ones that I've purchased, the covers have been really damaged. So I just use the pages on the inside for all of my junk journals and page kits that I list in my shop and different things like that. So these ones here have not been taken apart yet. Most of them. Some of them are still intact. Some of them are taken apart. And then down at the bottom, I have the spiral books that I use, like mixed media books. I have a couple art journals down there. Some that I've started, some that I've, that project that's gonna happen, that hasn't happened, that you've been talking about to happen. Yeah, I think you guys can all relate with that. And then a bunch of cardstock pieces that I saved from paper pads, old paper supply. A lot of this stuff I've had for years and years. I formerly had a brick and mortar store, and so I have some stuff still from that, which has been a while. But cardstock pieces and that kind of thing. Back here in the corner is kind of like a little shelf corner. There's a old Baybox scrapbook album that's not done. That doesn't really fit anywhere else in the house. So it's there until I can maybe get the rest of the pictures in it, and then I'll move it along. But that's that. And then here I have a cart in the middle. This is my memory planner type supplies, journals. I did a lot of bullet journals, not bullet journals. Yeah, bullet journals for a little while. So I have stickers and that kind of thing under there. Smaller paper pieces. Memory planners that aren't done. Years behind. I think some of you guys might relate to that too. Planner supplies. All in here. So this is good because when I want to go to the dining room table, so I have more space and I can print and have my printer hooked up and everything, I could just roll this cart right out into the hall, down the hall, for that. In the middle here, my stamp supplies. I recently found these. Tim was just talking about these. The Chemistry 101 tags. I have another set somewhere. But anyway, I was flipping through these just before he mentioned it on Saturday, so I thought it was funny that he brought that back up. But stamp supplies, I do freak when I mix my ink pads or my blending foams. So for me, this was the best way. I have these little, I think they're jewelry boxes or like for small parts, beads and stuff. All of the colors that I have here, and then I left spots for the ones I don't have, because I really do like the oxides and eventually plan to get them all. But I created the label, the side label, and inside, if I can open this with one hand without making me dizzy, I have the foam that I used. So for me, every color has a foam. I have a really, really hard time cross mixing the foams, but that's just me. He says you can do it, and I believe him, but I just can't do it. It just hurts my brain. So I have planners up here. These ones are done. I just don't have anywhere out to share them with the family, so they sit in here. Picture boxes for my kids, and then way up there. And then over here I have extra supplies, some of my supplies. I'll hide that for a second. That I have things organized. And of course I got it all cleaned up and labeled them all. So labels, envelopes, those are all envelopes. Then I have maps. This box right here that's not labeled has just a mixed match of stuff I need to figure out exactly what it is. Some of the stuff might be able to be listed in my shop, but I haven't decided. Extra supplies. My texture, these are more of those containers, the stackable ones. So this I used to have stacked on those before I added this. All my pastes, brush cleaner, that kind of thing. This is all adhesive. Oh, it's not marked. Adhesive. Sewing patterns. These are all either cut up pieces or whole pieces, but I have them all folded up already. I've used some of the covers already, the envelopes that they come in. Down here, cardstock. This is all 8.5 by 11. I have several friends who I used to craft with a lot, or some that just said, you know, I think I'm done crafting. Do you want my paper? Of course I said yes, because I love paper, which kind of gets me in a big problem because I have no more space for paper. But I just love how this just the look of it. I could just look at this and just be happy. Down here I have more book pages. These are books that have already been taken apart, so these are ready to build kits or create junk journals with. More music books, but these are all pieces already. In this little messy corner, the shove corner, those are all my family photos, family pictures from grandma and my mom. That when my mom passed, you go through all the pictures to get all the memory board stuff, and then all the pictures just got shoved because it was hard to look at them and go through them all. I do now have a photo scanner, so the goal is eventually to get all those scanned, so that the family can have them and my kids can look at them and my sister and my niece, and then share them, so they're not just hiding in the closet. But until then, until I get the nerve to do that, or the strength maybe, I'll get that done. But that's my closet. And then on this side of the closet, on this side of the door frame, I have another one of those magnetic things right now. These are all just notes, things I didn't know where to put at the moment, things I'm going to work on. But I have my distress crayon swatches here. Some ribbon I just recently dyed. It dried, so I was just leaving it there. I didn't want to mix it up with other stuff. My distress ink swatches. So I use the Strathmore mixed media paper because that's what I use a lot. And then I just swatched all my colors. So I have my oxides here and then my distress ink ones here. I used to have them hooked onto my shelf that actually holds my inks, but then I just kept knocking them over, and then they ended up in the way, and then I got frustrated with them, and then they ended up in a drawer, and then I forgot about them, and it was just a mess. So they got hung up. So that is what I look at when working right here. Underneath, I have two carts. Excuse me, Kona. My dog is laying right in the middle of the floor, which is his favorite spot. So every time I turn around, I step on him. But, you know, that's what dog's life is. Excuse me, bud. Psh, 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 psh. There he goes. So I have one of these carts that I got from Michael's. I don't really know the name of it, but I can look it up. On here, I have my silhouette. I have an old Eclipse machine back there that we still occasionally use. But in here, I have my cutting mat machines. I have cards that I have finished. My label maker and Dymo, and the cartridges live in there. My Zetter coils. These are the ones that I believe these are open ones. Yeah, those are open so that they can get to them. The other ones are up at the top shelf of the closet. Cables and accessories for the machines. And then this was just a good tub that I needed for burlap and tulle and extra denim that I kept. So this is nice. My husband kept telling me, get the carts that move, get the carts that move. And was against it for a while. But now I will admit it is very convenient. So if you saw my video, my short little, oh, maybe it's just my Instagram story. The other day I had it set up right here with the extension up. I had my computer there. The silhouette was on top. It was printing and I was working at the table. So it just makes it work out. And then it also gives me an extended piece that I can work on if I need more space. These are my glue books. This needs a home, or it needs a sleeve actually. And I get that put away. But I keep the old magazines for my glue books when I'm doing masterboards and collage. This is a book that I converted to a, excuse me, let's turn the page, collage book. So when I'm working on something and I have scraps at the table, I try to just glue them in to my book so I don't have a ton of scraps sitting around, which I still have. You know, I think we all do, but so this is actually almost full. I only do one side, and then when I cut them, I just add like a cardstock or matting to the back. This was an old piano book I picked up. Someone on Marketplace was just selling old music books. Big old box of them, so I picked up that. So this just lives right underneath. And then the other one, this is my Sizzix cart. Has all my dies, my machine. It's kind of in there a little crooked right now because there's something under it that's not supposed to be, but my bigs, and then all of my embossing folders are under here. So these again are also the kitchen containers, refrigerator organizers from Costco. These bigger ones, I don't remember the name of them, but I did buy them from Hobby Lobby. I know I kept the label on one of them. I think it's in the stamp bucket, but I will look it up so I can tell you which one it is. Sorry, you're looking at something else. I just shifted, but I have these set up the same way with labels. I have them in the Sizzix folders, the template folders. I like magnet sheets, so I
we'll put them on the magnet sheets in here, and then put them in there where they need to go. Nope, not in Christmas. In Butterflies. Excuse me. So Christmas things, such as the old stamp. This is a Thinlit set, so it goes with the stamp set. But I have them all organized that way, which helps me also to keep count of how many pieces there are. Some of the bigger ones or the ones that have lots of pieces are in the larger ones, like the specimen set. Had too many pieces for the small folder. So I have it in there like that, and then I just keep the packaging. I use just magnetic sheets that I got from Amazon. Just cut them to size, and then when I have stuff that's a bunch of cutoffs, I use that too, and I'll just glue them to a piece of cardstock to keep them all organized. So that's all I have that, and it goes right underneath here, which is perfect height, and that lives under there until I need it. And just this week, I had this cart out here, right next to this cart, like such. Oops. And I had my big shot up on top, and then I was using the dies, and so it just works out. It gives you extra space and more storage. So I'm gonna put these back and then keep going. All right, so next. These are, I believe they're called Alex Drawers from IKEA. I have two sets, one here that I'm using for this side of the table, and then I have one set on that side against the wall for that table. So I was able to use two of the old tables with one set of legs. So I used it that way. Underneath here lives my Tim Holtz backdrops, my small trimmer that I use all the time. It goes right up on the desk. But my backdrops, I had a really hard time figuring out how I'm going to store these things. I had them in an accordion folder. I had them in page protectors. I had them in paper, like magazine holders, and none of it worked for me. I always forgot about them or dug through them, had to dump them all out. This, I think, is going to work. So we'll see. Fingers crossed they're going to work. But wallpaper pieces in front. Christmas, I do want to add like little dividers in here so that I know what I'm looking for. But it is fun to just flip through them all the time when I'm looking. This is more backdrops, Christmas. I do kind of have them in order based on the set, but if I had to tell you right this second, I couldn't tell you which one was which. Because when I had them in the way I previously organized them, I got rid of all the packaging. But these are all these yummy, yummy, yummy backdrops. I think the palette set might be my favorite. I have used a lot of those, so I think I'm on my second set. But this way it can come out on the table, whatever I'm working on, right there, and then I can just slide it back underneath. So stick that right back in there. Hopefully the box stays together and I don't damage it too bad. Drawers. This is my use all the time drawer. Basically I have this open. Bone folders, pens, pencils. Oh, yeah, that should be in there. These are pencils and water pens. These are Sharpie markers, not Sharpie markers, excuse me, permanent markers. Oh, there are Sharpie markers in here. My Villa Beautiful pens that these are like my favorite, the way these write. Yummy. This is what I use in all my planners. I use those. I have some old, it's my last Creative Memories fine tip marker that I have. Pen. Whiteout. Ink refills.
my tiny attacher, sanding discs. So this stuff I use a lot. Right there. This is another of my go-to all the time. Dangles that I've created already. So when I'm ready to use them, I can go. Tim Holtz ephemera or snippets. These are also some empty ones that are just in here for storage. The alphabet set. Tiny attacher. Tag corner. Maker. Ruler. And then empty things. My pens. I love pens. You would think I did a lot of actual art and drawing, but no, I just love pens. My husband printed me all of these little tiny containers, not little, using a grid system. So they all stack, and I can just bring them out when I need them. So they're actually pretty snug in here. It's because this thing doesn't fit in there. It's not really goes in there, but they all can stack. So they're 3 high. So yes, I have a lot of pens. My daughter is an art major and does a lot of art, so she also uses these when she's home. She grabs for a pen, but just to look at this, it's yummy. It makes me happy. I love pens. I have a hard time going to a craft store or a art supply store because I buy a pen every time. Punches that I use often. Those go in there. And then this is just like a miscellaneous shove drawer, so I'm just going to close that real quick. Up here is my little cabinet. This faux vintage, I guess you can say, cabinet I found from Home Goods about 10 years ago. And every time I show it, people ask me where I got it from or how old is it, when did I get it. It is just a replication, but is one of my self-bought birthday presents that I bought for myself. I have all my ink pads up here. These are all Distress inks. I built these little, I don't know if you can see them if I get close enough, black foam board dividers. Oh, here's one. Hot glue foam board. I made them to fit in here. I actually had to go through and measure each one because these little cubbies are not the same. Different sizes. So that made it a little difficult, but I got it worked out. Regular Distress ink on top. These are Faber-Castell gelatos, which are like watercolors. So I have those there. My oxide inks are all swatched. All my Tim Holtz crayons, Distress crayons, and the mica seasonal crayons. I marked the seasonal ones with the little Sharpie. I just put a circle on it so that I would know which one has mica in it when I go to grab for it. But I have those all there, and it goes to here. So there is space for more ink pads. Ha ha ha. Eventually I'll get there, but for now, ink pads. Oops, I'll put that back. Empty one. These are stays on. So permanent ink. This is the Distress. These are in here a little tight. Usually I have to use 2 hands to get them out, but since I'm holding the camera, it's a little hard. Archival Distress. I just purchased one of these, VersaFine Claire. I like to watch Crafty by Tony, and she uses VersaFine Claire all the time and raves about it, so I bought one to test it out. And then more archival here. In here, I had these marked, but just recently rearranged, so I'll clean them out. But I have this carpet, like goes under a carpet. I forget what it's called, but I have them. I have found extra, and I'm going to cut it so I can put it underneath my ink pad so they don't slide all over the table. Actually, I have one right here that's already cut. So this way, if I'm working here, I have this so it doesn't wiggle. But here's the extra. Small minis.
here, fabric tape. Just recently hit Michael's sale, so I got some embossing glaze. So these are the next things I need to go in and swatch. My micro glaze is in here too. Over here I have my crayons. I have 4 sets of crayons, 10 pouch crayons. I don't want to take them out. I'm worried that they'll dry up, but I'm not sure if that's even a thing. But for now, that's where they're going to live. This is some 49th Market. This is a lot of the collage, some of the collage paper I use when I want color. And then this was an awesome find that I found at the flea market. It's a stamp book. So I went through and organized these. A lot of them were loose or broken, and this guy had it in a box. So I went through and sorted them all by color. Because again, work with your brain. So when I'm looking at something, I'm like, oh, I need something red. I can flip to red. So I have those. And those are things I grab for, so I try to keep it within grabbing distance. Twine. What's in here? The cheesecloth. And that's empty. So, as I was saying, I used to have my swatches hooked on here, but then I kept knocking this over, so I had to move it. So, there we go. That is the stuff I grab for right when I start, that's not gonna work, start crafting in my space right here. So, I am going to have to pause and move a couple things, and then I can show you the rest. Be right back. Okay, here we go. This is the second table. So here I'm going to back up again. You can see where I work. Most of the time standing up. This over here would be my sewing / computer / I need to sit down / drying station, I guess you could say. So a lot of stuff happens on this side as well. This right here, this little stack of mess, doesn't have a home yet, but it's in progress, so I'm leaving it there. No judging. Under here, my heat tool, which is long enough to reach my workstation over there. In progress pieces that I'm not sure that's going to live there because it's kind of a pain to get in and out. But at the moment, I don't have anywhere else for it to go. So that's where it sits. I have an old candy jar here that has my ribbon remnants in it. So when I'm sewing, if I need a trim piece, that can go there. This is another thing that I'm working on in progress, that all of these things need to be sewn, stitched, so it's sitting in a basket. I do have paintbrushes and stuff here. I don't normally paint on this side of the table. I'll just move it over to my workstation. But as far as a permanent home, they just kind of stay there, so they're out of the way. This was another marketplace find. It's one of those little tool things, but it had a bunch of buttons plus my own stash of old buttons. So I have it all organized now by color. Again, you can tell that's my best method. So all of these, I did take them all out and wash them all, because you could tell that it was living in somebody's garage for a little while. But there's some cute stuff in there. Other small little things. My sewing machine, I push it back so I have space, or pull it forward when I'm using it. You can probably tell I love Stitch. Lilo and Stitch, like my favoritist. Well, favoritist, but then I also I just love Disney, I guess. So my Stitch, that's a puzzle I put together. My daughter bought that for me for Christmas. I put it together and then we put it in a frame. So my Funkos live there. Ooh, they're a little dusty. I think I need to dust them. More on this side. And Beauty and the Beast. And Electrical Parade. And Grogu. So anyway, back to my room scrappy stuff. Sew station. I do have some spools here. I do have another one of those magnetic strips here for more scissors that I use when I'm sitting at this table. When I'm sitting here, I do move
this cabinet out of the way. This is another IKEA. I'm not sure what this one is called, but I do roll it so that I can actually sit and back up the chair and not run into things. Under here, that little messy pile, that's a work in progress project Tote. That's a memory planner year that I'm not done with. And then an old train case that I have that I use when I go places to crop. My inks, that's usually my inks and my glue and stuff go in that. And then the sewing machine cover. And over here, I have my sewing things. This first one, General Office. I'm not going to open it because it is a hot mess. Hot mess express. Sewing things. More printed drawer organizers, 3D printed organizers, rotaries, more thread and golds, fibers, twines, pins, sewing machine, needle replacements all in here, old scissors, and then thread rippers, chalk. What's this thing called again? Thimble. So sewing. Trims. I took all of my loose trims, cut up some cardstock, and I wrapped them. Again, organized by color. So these are all the trims that I have that are open. I have some, I received these from Swaps, Happy Mail, some yard sale finds, marketplace finds, antique fair finds, some old stuff in the back. That stuff's still wrapped, so I'm not opening it just to wrap it up onto here. I will do it once I open it. So that's what I have there. That one's a little noisy. Notions. So this is all my muslin here that I use a little more often than normal than to put it away anywhere else. More notions, buttons on cards that I would use as a whole piece. If I was using this in a book, I can use it like that. Elastic there. And then this drawer is the one that gets rarely used. But now that I just bought all these, oh, someone's doing donuts outside my house. I bought the embossing glazes. I'll now have a reason to use this drawer more often. But I have all of my embossing and glitter stuff in here. And my old distress powders that I really need to practice playing with again. Kind of put them away and then forgot about them, and then remembered I had them all when I was looking at the Chemistry 101 information. Like, oh wait, I have those. So that's what I have in there. So these are my two little workstations. Not little. My two workstations, my big IKEA tables. This is all stuff I just made. My dog's ball. But this is his space to look out the window because he can see 4 or 5 houses down from here. So he loves to sit in that corner. But I have these organized now and labeled. I have adhesives. My pan pastels and watercolors, all of those go in here. Except I have more gelatos. Except my watercolor, my distress crayons. Even though they are work watercolor, they have to go with the distress stuff over there. So that's why they're not in here. Watercolor pencils, foam stamps. Still have these. Every time I think I'm going to get rid of them, I end up using them. So they just found a new home. Wooden stamps. This is what I've come down to save. Alphabets, small alphabets, some antique type ones, this big Heidi stamp, these old 7 Gypsies ones. So these are all in here now. My printers, I have 3 different photo printers, so those there. And then shipping supplies for my shop. So I have that in there. And this moves, so I'm going to move it so we can keep going around the room. The white cubes. I've had these white cubes just as long or longer than I've had the IKEA tables. At least 25 years, I would say.
so I don't even know the brand of them. The new Michaels cubes, I don't even think they're the same size. I think they're slightly bigger. Because I did buy one to see if I could add to my system, and they didn't line up, so I just took it back and worked with what I have. So I also have all of these marked now. So eyelets, hammers, crocodile, which helps keep me organized. Alcohol inks. Background stamps, these are the big Stampin' Up! Ones that are too big to fit anywhere else, go there. Heidi Swap, I have a lot of old sprays. I have the old Color Shine sprays, Mr. Huey's. I actually recently used those. They're still good. Some of the sprayers don't work so well, so I could try and replace the sprayers or use them like paint. But I'm determined to use them. More sprays. Game cards. Glams. See, more sprays. I have a lot. I should get them. Grunge board. This is my hoarding drawer. I've had this for a long time. Haven't used them. But it is Tim's Grunge board. 2008. They don't even make this anymore, but I still have it. I use it sometimes, but I'm being stingy with it and don't really want to use it. And it still has a smell. Sandpaper, sand blocks. And then up here, this is a closet shelf organizer shelf that my husband hung so that they would match. This one's not labeled, but right now this is a memory planner in progress. But I did mark these. Halloween, Christmas. Tim Holtz Christmas, this is all his stuff. Christmas, my extra folios. Not sure what's in there. Collage paper, so this is a drawer system. These are the Michaels. These came in a rolling container, a white framed rolling container. But the container didn't have a spot here, so I had to take them apart. So this, but they're now labeled all the way up. That's my looking at stuff, as I like to call it. Decorations, I guess. Tags, stickers. So I tried to go in and label everything. Recently, like I said, 3 weeks, and it's finally organized. Old books. Those are probably never going to be taken apart books. Old games, game boards that I use for projects. My small pieces. So I have 4 of these containers, and I have them all labeled on the inside. I'll bring that out another time to look at it, but just so you can see how I have those 4. More things, and then these are all the stuff for my shop together. When something's listed and ready to go, it goes in there to stay safe from the dogs and my niece's little fingers. And then also so I can get orders out really fast. And then the supplies I need for that. And the dog came back in. More old ephemera and things for junk journals or the shop. These are 2 in progress. Oh, dust. In progress things that I have. One has old layouts in it. One is a book that I started to make years ago and just hadn't finished. Scrapbooks. And then the rest. I'm going to be running out of battery here pretty soon, so I gotta work on that. There's my villain Funkos. So Disney villains. Maleficent's my favorite, if you can't tell. Maleficent on one side and Stitch on the other. My typewriter, my yummy swatch of Tim Holtz Christmas fabric, old cameras, which is a little collection thing of mine, and then I have all my drawers. This was the most recent one, and I just ran out of label tape, so that one needs to get labeled, but this is almost a random collection of things, mostly some bigger trims that not big enough to roll, but too big to put in the little swap spot. Pockets and labels. My ideology medals live in here.
Bling and enamel live in here. More metals live in here. And these, my husband printed these as well. They're two cubbies per cube. Old fabric. Okay. New battery. Let's keep going. I believe I stopped right over here. Yes, I talked about ideology. And then in here, I was watching Louisa, and I don't want to say her last name wrong, but she does a lot of stuff with Tim Holtz. She has very, I guess, she has a beautiful craft space. And one of the things that I caught from her space was separating or keeping things together with the way you think about it, right? So I created this drawer. All of these were recently reorganized and redone. So I don't know how exactly it's going to work for me, but so far it's been a couple weeks and it seems to be pretty good. I do have a pretty big shadow right now because the way my lights are, but hopefully it doesn't get in the way here. So I have tag bases and journal cards in here, or excuse me, yes. So these are more containers that my husband printed that I can take out with me to my table if I'm working on tags. So in here I have bases. So these are things that are either started and ready to use. So I can just keep going with them. This has already been coffee dyed. This was a master board that was cut up. Thin bag material. Another masterboard piece. So this one just really needs embellishments. And so I have them so that my masterboards are cut, trimmed up to tag size. And this is basically the base. So just need to keep layering on top. Some have stitching, like this one already is stitched, just to keep going. So these are ones that are just not done yet. I called them bases. And in my brain, that's how that is. Like this is the base that's ready to be decorated. So I have them all in here. Different sizes, mostly the big ones. The little ones I have here. So like little tags, but these are still raw. I have in the little drawers. So these are bigger size. Master boards made on paper bags that I cut down, and then I just gave it some stitching or whitewash and then stitched. But these are ready for the next step of creating. So I have a stack in here that I'm ready to go. So the next time I'm ready to make tags, I could just pull this out and bring it over and keep going. Here are bigger, this is a bigger drawer, same type of things in here, bases or bigger squares. I also right now have some die cuts in here. I'm not quite sure where they're going to go otherwise. More tag bases would be upcycle things. Packaging. This is all hard packaging that I can use this as a tag. Just cut it, decorate the back so the barcode is gone, put a hole in it, and use it as a tag. Tim Holtz, small ideology. These are good tag sizes, and they already have the cover, so I can collage on it, front and back, tie a trim or something to that, and those are ready to go. So those are more tag bases. These are items, old set of gypsies. So this is another one I can use for that. He's waiting on a filament shipment, so as soon as he gets that in, he can print a few more for me, but I have other things in here. Some more tags, tag bases. So tag and journal card bases, that's what's in here. When I've made them and they're done, they go in this drawer. These are all things I've already made that can be ready to use on something, in something. This one was a gift. I'll leave that out. That's going in my book. This, I think, is in the wrong spot. This is also a gift. Okay. Oh, no. So these are mini tags. These are tags that are already decorated.
Let me shift over so the sun lighting is better. Tags that I've already made. Tags that are ready to go. So these can go in a book right now, or in a ephemera paper kit that I sell in my shop. Things that are already done. If I'm pulling a kit together and in order, I pull some things from here. If it's a mystery listing. Some I have done where I've selected the items that I've already made and then listed it as the exact listing. A lot of times for me, doing it as a mystery is a little easier. I don't have to photograph every single thing, but I do notice that people like to know exactly what they're getting, so I do it both ways. These are clusters in here. Clusters that are ready to go in a book, on a page, on an envelope, in an ephemera kit. So this is how I like to create. Tim calls it compartmental making. I'll just do a bunch of the same thing over and over, like a bunch of die cuts. Cut up a die cut machine, use it for hours, and die cut all the scraps and all the pieces. And then I'll take all the strips and then build clusters with all the little pieces that I put together. So just feel like I get more done rather than going back and forth and back and forth. This is going to have a couple bigger trays to sit on top of here, similar to the ink pen drawer, but they're not going to be locking type containers, but it'll sit so these bigger things don't go around. So these are, this actually doesn't go in this drawer. This goes in this one, which I'll show you that drawer in a second. These are like scrap stacks. So where's the lighting? Bad lighting, bad lighting. Scrap pieces that you can use to journal on, add pictures to, or stitched, some or stapled, and they could fit in a pocket. Same here. So this is what I was doing before my head exploded because I couldn't find what I was looking for. And I said, forget it, everything's coming out of the room. I need to reorganize. So I got some of these done, not as many as I want, but some of those. This was something that somebody made for me. And then the larger size tags. Collaged, and then, so these are almost 6 inches tall, I think. So these are also going to go in another container. So we have 2 more containers being printed for this drawer. But here's some other, these are smaller mini clusters. These ones work well on the pockets that I make. So they're kind of sorted by size. So like little, they call these twinchies, the 2x2s. So these are smaller size. And then journaling cards that are done and ready to go. So again, this is it's already ready. Grab it for a ephemera bag or a book. Ready to go, ready to go. Bigger tags. So that's that drawer. Let me put these ones back. These are going to go in my next project right here. And then here, oops, oh yeah, here we go. So here I have paper dolls and vintage photos. So in here I have all my Tim Holtz paper dolls. These are the bigger ones, the groups I have in the back. I use these, which are the same 4x6 size embellishment holders or photo holders as the ones that I have up here. So I think I have 6 in total. 4 that stay intact on the shelf, and the other ones I took the pieces out. So I try to find the ones that are on clearance. They're either missing one or it's broken, because I'm going to take these out anyway.
and then I have them marked. So I can, again, take this to my desk and just open it up. So I have portraits, found relatives, snapshots, photo booth strips. And this is a skinnier size. So we just, it's super lovely that my husband has that printer because he can measure the space that I have left and create a container for me. These are actually old vintage photos, yard sale finds, antique fair finds, pictures, that kind of thing. Okay, and then in here, I love birds and butterflies. So this has, excuse me, rub-ons on top, which is the only way at the moment I figured out how I can store these. Transfer sheets, 49th and Market, love them. The die cut sheets. Once I use a lot of them, then I'll break them apart. Excuse me. But sometimes they have big pieces in them and they don't fit in the little containers. Washi, 49th and Market. So this is Tim Holtz wallpaper scraps, but all the florals. So I have some of these in with my wallpaper, because that's what they are. And then I have some of them in with the flowers and butterflies. So it just depends on how quickly I think about what I'm making. I can grab for them. Paper flowers. And this also makes it easier if I plan to go somewhere. I used to go to Crops all the time and then stopped because to me it was too much work gathering all my things. But now that I have these, excuse me, I have a tickle in my throat. They're a lot easier to just grab and go for the day if you're going to go somewhere. So in here I have, these are all flowers. Oh, my label tape just came so I can have to throw it. So these are Tim Holtz flowers. And then in here I have birds. Oops. All the bird pieces. So that's how I have those organized in this drawer. So I'll know where to go when I'm looking for that theme. I do a lot of things with the nature theme, so that has the biggest assortment, I guess, drawer, specialized separate drawer, I guess. I'm not sure how I said that or if that even made sense. This one is another one that needs another drawer, but this is 49th and Market, bigger pieces, Tim Holtz, bigger pieces. I did plan to make a spot for butterflies. I just ran out of space in here. So butterfly die cuts either stay in here or they're in my book, my ephemera book, which I can show you that after as well. Bigger things. This one is says 49th and Market frames and Tim Holtz layers. So layers as in the ephemera pieces that he sells. These are frames that I've made myself, and then also some Tim Holtz ones, and then some die cut frames. But these are ones that I have created out of masterboard bases or collage bases. Used my Sizzix, excuse me, the Big Shot to create the frame, and then added stitching. So I have some that are different. I have one in here that is done, maybe, that I can show you. Maybe not. Maybe it's in the other drawer. Probably with the done stuff. Tim Holtz collage frames. 49th and Market frames. So this is going to have another drawer. These are not finished ones. And then I have tags and tickets. Tickets and tabs, I guess, because that's how my brain thinks about it. And labels and tags. This is all 49th and Market stuff that I opened up and put together. Sticker books and quote chips. And snippet strips. So these are all, again, if I'm sewing, I take the whole thing. Snippets that I've made
that will go in journals, ready to go. That can go in, I stitched this on a canvas piece, rickrack on collage, washi tape, back pieces. That can go in my ephemera kits from my shop, or in a book that I'm making, or something. Make it easy. Flashcards, word chips. There's two different types here, or quote chips, excuse me, not word chips. This was an old 12 by 12 sheet of washi paper, probably from 10 years ago, that I cut up into strips, and I'm slowly using it. Stamp strips that I've made, ready to use. Those are all living in this drawer. Tickets, paint markings for ephemera. And then all my, here's the other one, Tim Holtz sticker books and tags. So that's that drawer. And so it helps to know where your things are so that you can actually use what we have. I say that now. I've been crafting, paper crafting for 20 years. At least. No, my daughter's going to be 25 this year. 27 years. I started in college. And of course you collect stuff over the years, collect, and then you have so many things, and then you don't know where anything is, and then you just become overwhelmed because you know you have something, but you don't know where it is, and then you're looking for it, and then sometimes, if you're like me, you have like this avalanche of things, and then you just get frustrated because you spend more time looking for what you have rather than crafting with what you have. So I was determined to get this organized and cleaned up. I do have a few things. My dining room table still has a bunch of stuff on it that needs to be put away, but I've decided that if it doesn't fit into one of these categories, and I haven't looked at it or looked for it over the last few years, it's going in the purge pile, in the de-stash, donations, giveaways, prizes, that kind of thing. So I have those that are in progress as well. Back to the drawers, word veneers. This drawer came with these that you could buy. They pieced together. So I have all of these veneers in here. Old Studio Calico, Maya Road. That I don't use that often, but would love to. Alphabets, chipboard alphabets. That is overflowing. Tim Holtz tissue and wallpaper. That's Tim Holtz wallpaper. No, excuse me. Tim Holtz tissues, and then vintage wallpaper. This one is another one that I have not gotten to sorting out yet, but I know what lives in here, so it just needs to be re-cleaned. So these are old wallpaper pieces that came from Happy Mail or swaps that I've done. Some antique store finds, but that's there. And then I have the rolls, a lot of the rolls that I haven't used them all yet. So I'm not buying the new packaged ones until those are done. I did see the idea of taking these out and actually just cutting them. But I'm not sure if I want to do that yet. I haven't decided. There's my other little dog right there. So if I come down here, I have my cinch machine, which is on a shelf, which has the tool, and then more open coils. Chipboard shapes. These are random pieces of chipboard, things I've already cut. Chipboard from boxes or paper, excuse me, paper pads or coiled paper. What do you call those? Notebooks? Goodness, can't think of it. Or random die cut pieces. That's what lives there. Some of my old favorite magazines that I do not want to get rid of. They are at least 10 years old. I still sometimes look at them. Sometimes if I just need inspiration. Corrugated
chipboard, more vintage books, my Hambly stash, which I have lots of that left over. But again, I have it all labeled. My cardstock, this is all the 12 by 12 cardstock. I don't use it as often, but I am determined to use it. I also have, so they're by color, but then they also have mixed some patterns in here. So things that match the color that I don't necessarily need to have them sorted by manufacturer. Because I had a store before, I still remember some of the manufacturers and still think of things in that way. So I have some things organized that way, but not a lot. And then if you come up here, I just have them all labeled. Paper pads that I have shoved in there. My Ranger stuff. Old Tim Holtz 8x8s and 12 by 12 pads that I still have. That I could cut down to fit with the other papers, but I'm not going to. Halloween, Valentine's theme. Okay, so here, Simple Stories. To me, I know them by theme. I mean, by designer. Teresa Collins the same way, and Heidi Swapp the same way. That's just how I know of their things. Yep, vellum sticker sheets, burlap and cork sheets. So there we go. So I think that's it. That is all my stuff. I do love my stuff, but a lot of times I do get overwhelmed with the amount of stuff that I have. But I will say, for the past couple weeks, I've very much enjoyed coming in my craft room because it is clean and organized and I know where things are. And I've gotten a lot done in the last 2 weeks, just from getting it cleaned and organized to knowing what I'm looking for when I'm looking for it. So I hope you enjoyed my little room tour. I know people like to tell you the size of the room that they have when they show it. I actually do not know the size of this room, so I'll have to measure it. I can put it in the description box at the bottom. Dog. I'll have to move him and put my stuff back. But yeah, so this is the view from the door. Excuse me, Pepper. My other little dog sitting here. But this is the view from the door. So when you come in. Oh, and this is my little garbage bag here. The big dog likes to eat paper scraps, so I have to put the garbage can up. Otherwise, he has a snack. But there you go. I hope you enjoyed my room tour and my organization descriptions and explanations. Everybody thinks differently when they craft, and everybody has different ideas. So you do you and do what works for you, and maybe you caught an idea of something that might help you. So, one more look around. Have a fabulous day, everybody, and happy crafting. Bye.